Azzam, who is a Palestinian-American writer, poet, editor, and community activist, whose work addresses themes including war and displacement, refugee and immigrant experiences. I invite her to take the floor, and today we have the privilege really to hear her reading some of her poetry. Mrs. Azzam, you have the floor.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you to the Committee for the Exercise of the Inalienable Right of the Palestinian People for inviting me to participate in this solemn and meaningful program. It's my honor to commemorate with poetry the 76th year of the Nakba, the Palestinians' forced displacement from their homeland. As I watch the ongoing genocide in Gaza, I have a greater understanding of the trauma my parents suffered as refugees from Palestine. Indeed, for Palestinians, the Nakba never ended. It has been 76 years of loss, injustice, ethnic cleansing, dehumanization, and attempts at erasure on all levels. I'm honored to pay tribute to all the Palestinian martyrs, the wounded, starving, imprisoned, and abused, whether living in occupied Palestine, refugee camps, tents, or in the diaspora. My parents were originally from Nazareth, and my mother grew up in Jaffa. After they married, they were living in Haifa in 1948. They and my oldest brother and my entire extended family were forced to flee during the war. My parents' names are Samih and Alice Azzam. My poems and my activism for Palestine are all dedicated to their memory. The first poem I'd like to read today is about my father. I thought I'd mention that he worked for many years for UNRWA in the Beirut office when I was a child. This is a poem I wrote after he died. It's titled, "My Father is Now a Memory." My father is now a memory, dreamlike, clinging, fleeting, rooted. I will nurture it as he nurtured his plants, babies in a cradle, rocking gently. The roses in his garden mourn, he loved us, we loved him. The figs stand still, wishing for his tenderness. My father searched for Palestine in them, the memory of sweetness reawakened, nostalgia guiding him homeward. I can't remember him as a younger man anymore. He's an old man with clouds for hair, crevices in the earth of his face, a waterfall nose, crescent moon smile. He would sing snippets of a song, recite a line of poetry. Sometimes it would make sense. Sometimes it was out of place. He might laugh heartily, amused by a memory. He tried to teach my children to lick a drop of coffee from his little finger, as he had done with me on his lap decades ago. He clung to memories, found solace in reliving, replicating. Maybe he could find a home for the old in the new. My father yearned for the homeland he saw again only once in 50 years. We should never have left, he would say, out of the blue, shaking his head. They shot your neighbor. It was wartime. The Deir Yassin massacre had just come to light. No matter. We should have stayed. Maybe he would have been killed too. Maybe I would never have been born. A fig tree cut down, a fig imagined. 15 roses he bought the day before he died, planted only 3. My mother gave the others away to friends one by one. They will yearn for him, be planted far from home, refugees in diaspora. He loved us. We loved him. Since October 2023, Israel's war on Gaza has been a war on Gaza's children. Palestine Red Crescent Society just reported that over 15,000 children in Gaza have been killed. An entire generation has been annihilated or physically and mentally scarred forever. I wrote a poem at the end of October 2023 when I learned that some parents in Gaza were writing their children's names on their legs so they could be identified should the parents or the children be killed. I recently saw a video of a little boy in Gaza who was writing his own name on his leg, quote, "so I can be identified," unquote. He cried. It was truly heartbreaking. As a parent and as a grandparent, I am so heartbroken. The poem is titled "Write My Name," and it's in the voice of a child from Gaza. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Use the black permanent marker with the ink that doesn't bleed if it gets wet, the one that doesn't melt if it's exposed to heat. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Make the lines thick and clear, and add your special flourishes so I can take comfort in seeing my mama's handwriting when I go to sleep. Write my name on my leg, Mama, on the legs of my sisters and brothers. This way we will belong together. This way we will be known as your children. Write my name on my leg, Mama. And please write your name and Baba's name on your legs too, so we will be remembered as a family. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Don't add any numbers like when I was born or the address of our home. I don't want the world to list me as a number. I have a name and I'm not a number. Write my name on my leg, Mama. When the bomb hits our house, when the walls crush our skulls and bones, our legs will tell our story, how there was nowhere for us to run. One day, it struck me how central the concept of khair, or goodness, is to Arab culture. The Arabic word khair is uttered often during each day. How lovely it is that one of our major touchstones of our lives is the idea of goodness, and we use it in our speech and with each other all the time. Here's a poem titled Khair. From the time farmers rise with the sun until night descends, there is talk of it. Songs and Quranic verses about khair, morning of khair, evening of khair. There is no getting around goodness. Tusbahi ala khair, my mother would wish me as she kissed my forehead at bedtime. May you wake up to goodness. Later, I learned to respond, وَإِنْتِ مِنْ أَهْلُ. May you be part of its family, the family of khair. Even watching TV, as we waited for bad news from Gaza, she would admonish, khair inshallah, goodness, God willing. No matter the misfortune, she was sure Allah would eventually bring khair to Palestine. Maybe it all started with her neighbors in Jaffa, the family whose name was Khair Allah, God's goodness. From kindness to comity, their ancestors packed so much in this name. It was a hedge against hardship, an incantation in their bones, Palestine's bones, where khair resides from morning till night, in a mother's kiss at bedtime, deep in a farmer's land. There, the roots of khair multiply in the earth, goodness bristling. Before I read my last poem today, I'd like to leave you with a thought. Palestine's beloved national poet, Mahmoud Darwish, once said that, quote, "Every beautiful poem is an act of resistance," unquote. So here's my final poem. It's titled Colors for the Diaspora. It was originally inspired by the colors of the Palestinian flag, how it's been illegal for Palestinians to display these colors. Although I do mention the 4 banned colors in this poem, I include other colors as well. In this way, the black, green, red, and white are found organically with other colors in nature in Palestine. The poem can be read as an elegy to our forefathers and foremothers who were displaced and dispossessed of their national home, searching for the colors of their land and struggling for the liberation of Palestine. Colors for the diaspora. Blue-green, watery globe, tugging to a red core. We are a distant comet, white cloud of unburnished rocks, frisking the heavens for an arc to earth, sea, home. Green-brown Palestine, cactus fruit and wild thyme, olive orchards, cypress trees. We travel on your mountaintops, tethered by voices from suitcases and the yaw of blackened keys. Blue-black night, silver stars of ancestors traveling a displaced orbit around a lost sun, repeating, when will we see the colors of our land? When will we land? Thank you.